Hi, and welcome to another episode of Be Fierce and Try podcast. I'm Jill Bartholomew, and I'm here for a special episode today here at the Ironman headquarters in Tampa, Florida. And I'm here with some of the Ironman Foundation crew. So if you guys want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Audra Tassone. I'm the Executive Director for the Ironman Foundation.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Brenner. I'm the Director of Operations and Community Relations for the Ironman Foundation.
Hi, I'm Kemper Reback. I'm the Marketing and Community Relations Specialist.
She is also the reason why the mics work. So Audra, we've been talking about Ironman Foundation for a while on the podcast. You were actually on, what was it, episode 2?
Yes.
I think,
Yep.
episode 2. So very early on. I love, foundation and, what you guys, do for the communities that we race in. Do you want to talk a little bit about, foundation, what it's all about and how you impact the communities?
Sure. No, absolutely. We're going to tag team this. It's going to be myself and Caitlin. So since 2003, the Ironman Foundation has given back over $60 million to over 10,000 nonprofit organizations. So we have two pillars. First and foremost, we give back to our race communities. And the second is that we support youth in sports. And then I am going to hand it over to Caitlin, and she's going to talk a little more in depth.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. Audra loves to just hand it over to me. Yes. So as Audra said, we really have our pillars. And this year, we've already given back over $1.5 million through our community grants, volunteerism grants, as well as our Swim Ready programming. And Swim Ready is something that we've really invested a lot of time into and are really working to expand even further. And it's aimed at providing swim lessons to underserved kids in our communities around the North America communities. And right now we're focused in 5 regions or 5 cities, which are Chattanooga, Boise, Idaho, San Diego, California, with Oceanside, California, Ottawa, Canada, as well as Wilmington, North Carolina.
I had a chance to attend the one in Chattanooga. That was pretty cool. It spent, what was it, an hour? It's an hour that we spent with the kids, teaching them some basic swim skills. The girl that I was paired with was hysterical because she was a little fish. She was a little fish who couldn't swim. She was like, "Why am I here?" But no, it was fun. Like the kids all seemed to enjoy it, seemed to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And have you done any of them?
Yes, I went to the one in Boise. So that was with the Challenged Athletes Foundation, where we had children with physical disabilities. We took them through swimming, biking, and running one-on-one with coaches. And then they did a little mini para-triathlon. So that was super inspiring to watch.
That's cool. A little mini triathlon.
They crushed it. The kids were awesome. And a lot of them hadn't used these kinds of equipment before.
Kemper, how many kids participated in that?
That was 9 children.
9.
9. Mhm.
9, so that's a very cozy triathlon.
Well, with all the hand cycles and everything, there's a lot going on.
Right.
Yeah.
What were some of the projects that you did outside of the swim program last year?
Trying to remember.
Where we did bike building
That's right.
in Lake Placid and Kona.
And Cape Epic. So we brought a team to Cape Epic and we gave back 100 bikes and helmets to the local kids in the community. So which was amazing. And we've committed to that community in South Africa for the next 2 years. So a total of 3.
So you did bike building for Lake Placid last year, Cape Epic,
Kona.
Kona.
Hawaii. We also provided a grant funding and complimentary race entries for our Iron Kids race in Taupo, New Zealand. So our grant funding actually is covering more than 50% of their year's programming with education on nutrition, as well as the swimming, as well as education on the swimming, the biking, the running, but nutrition as well, and just teaching the youth in Taupo about triathlon and getting them into the sport. So grant funding is going to cover at least 50% of the year for them.
And how many athletes do we have this year racing with Ironman Foundation?
For Kona or
In general?
in general, we have close to 300 athletes racing with Ironman Foundation. But what's really exciting is this year for Kona, we have 31 women that we're bringing to Kona this year to race the World Championship.
Wow, 31. That's a huge contingent.
We're incredibly excited. That's
And
record breaking.
And how many of them are repeats?
So I would say out of all of them, a total of about 7 are repeats. You being one of them?
I have raced with you a few times.
Yes, you have. Jill's one of our big supporters.
I'm on the frequent flyer program.
Make sure we need to punch her past as she leaves.
Fair enough. See, you put 4 women in a room late at night after one of them just drove 24 hours. It gets really goofy. So you and I have been talking a long time about racing and how do we get more athletes across the finish line and get them across stronger and feeling better about themselves in the race. And so now's a good time. We have a little announcement to make, right? So we started this about a month ago now.
I would say,
I think
about a month ago. Yeah. No, but we've been having conversations for probably a good solid 6 months, I would say.
Is that all?
Right. At least about
So at least 6 months, at least 6 months. But I mean, so Be Fierce Multisport, my company, is now providing, coaching services to your athletes who desire it at a pretty significant discount. And, I think this is a great new benefit. As many, what we know is about 8%. I've heard different numbers, ranging from like 8 to 11%. But let's suffice it to say that the vast majority of athletes do not have coaches, not specific to foundation, but like foundation or otherwise. Most athletes do not have coaches or even a training plan that they're working down. And it shows on the field, right? Unsurprisingly, the top 8% of finishers all have coaches.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm sure if we dug into the statistics, there's absolutely Kona qualifiers who don't, but I think your chances are much higher of having a successful day if you have a plan that you're following. Right.
I would agree 100%.
So I think, we have 2 programs, right? One is coached at a discounted rate, also includes like inclusion in other social media and, groups, coaching groups. And then also, like, if you don't want to coach, give you a plan that you can follow. It's not very specific to you, but it's better than what you would get through ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Right?
Sort of guideline that
Right.
is
It's
sets you up for success.
give some guardrails, and we mentioned AI a lot these days, but I've had a few athletes come to me through foundation to look at their chat GPT generated training plan, which I think is actually how we started this conversation.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That is how we started this
Right.
conversation.
Because I was like, hey, I'm getting a few folks coming at me wanting to review their training plans and their progress. And I looked at some of them and some of those chat GPT generated training plans. And I was like, there is no way you're going to make it across the finish line with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think this will be good. I hope people take us up on the offer, either coached or uncoached. The uncoached is free.
Yeah.
Coached is not, but it's a pretty good discount.
I think it's phenomenal. Why don't you share with everybody how many 70.3 or Ironman events in general you've done?
Me?
Yeah, overall.
Well, I mean, this year alone, I have what, 3, 4 fulls? Wait, yeah, in the last 12 months, I have 4 fulls, 5 fulls, 5 fulls
Yeah.
in 12 months, and I think the same number of 70.3s.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And she's getting married on Saturday, by the way.
3 days from now. 3 days from now. So we're recording this on wedding brain at this point.
So here's a question for you, Jill. And
Mhm.
with all the athletes you come in contact with, what is their biggest fear when it comes to triathlon?
Well, it totally depends on their experience level and where they're coming from. The vast majority of the athletes I've encountered are really kind of fearful of the swim, even at the sprint distance. Right. And like most sprints are like 400 to 600 yards or meters for the swim, which is, for most of us, we would think that pretty short. But if it's your first one, like I've seen people DNF in sprints on the swim, because if you don't have the skill, then it's scary. But, I was talking to someone this morning who was expressing concern about their bike. It's like, hey, I'm a strong swimmer. I'm a strong runner, but I'm going to need all the time I can get for the bike.
Yeah.
So I think it's really individual, but I think as we talk about like full and halves, it's really the distance.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation with one of your clients and you're at an event and you see them starting to have a panic attack before the start or just really just uncomfortable in their own skin, excuse me. And if that happens, how do you talk them down from a situation like that?
So one of the things that I mean, yes, panics are very common. Unfortunately, it usually happens in the water. Open water panics, super common. When I do race prep with my athletes, I know a ton of coaches do the same thing, especially for if someone's doing their first race. um, we will walk through the entirety of your day. How are you approaching, getting up in the morning? What time is your alarm set? What are you eating for breakfast? What did you prepare the day before versus that morning? And walk through the day, because like giving for most people, giving them like that program to follow
Yeah,
helps to ease the anxiety of the day.
got it.
And like some race nerves are normal, but if it's paralyzing, then
Yeah.
we want to do everything we can to prepare the athlete for the race that they're about to have.
Have you ever come across an athlete or a potential client of yours where you're at an event and they say this is the first time they're doing an open water swim? And if that's the case, like how do you handle a situation like that? Or do you just turn your back and be like, good luck?
I would
No,
I would never turn my back. I would never turn my back. But I mean, yes, I have been at
and she
events.
would never turn her back.
I think we mentioned that. We're good on that. But to answer your question, yes, I have been at events where people have basically decided cold turkey, they're going to do this thing, and they've never been in a large body of water. Now, for some people, like they train in the pool and they train consistently, follow a rigorous training plan, but they just don't have access to open water.
Got it. Okay.
So I think like getting in the water, like if you don't have access to open water, at least getting in, if there's a practice swim or finding some body of water that you can swim in advance, just so you know what it's like to swim more than 25 yards or 50 meters or, whatever. And, for a lot of people, not having that wall
Right.
is really a shock. And if you're used to having like pretty decent times in the pool, translating that to a decent time in open water, um, it's not the same because you don't have the push off, you're sighting. So if you're swimming a squiggly line, your 1.2 miles or 2.4 miles might be more like 3.
Right.
We
Exactly.
there was one athlete, I think it was actually at Texas, who swam almost an entire extra mile. Could you imagine how much that takes out of you to swim that much extra and then get on a bike and do 112?
That's incredible. When you compete, what is your favorite discipline? Is it swim? Is it the bike? Is it the run? Or is it just in general?
Uh, it changes over time.
Okay.
I was a runner,
Hmm.
and, I was a cyclist when I was younger, and I was a swimmer when I was like this tall. But, as an adult, I basically had to relearn how to swim because everything I was taught was wrong, apparently. Right. Yeah, like that whole S thing. Like if you're listening and you do the S stroke, please stop. But no, like
I know what she's talking.
you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So cycling, I think, is my strongest, and I enjoy this. I enjoy cycling the most.
Okay.
Like you give me like an open white sheet of paper for a day, and say you can do any one of these three things. It's going to be the bike,
It'll be the bike. Okay.
especially outdoors. I love cycling outdoors and not on paths. I have an aversion to paths. I've seen too many people, you know, hit railings and hit other people and destroy themselves and their bikes.
Have you ever, when you're competing in an event and just have
Mhm.
those like dark moments of like, I don't want to do this. I'm just going to stop. Why am I doing this? And if you do, how do you talk yourself out of that?
So, Audra, you've known me for a while. What do you think the answer to that is?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So, like, these races are endurance races. whether it's like your first 70.3 or your 50th or your first full or your 50th or 200th, like there's dark places that you get into for a lot of different. You saw me at Lake Placid. We've talked a lot about Lake Placid, but there was some dark moments there where my nutrition plan kind of didn't go the way I needed it to go. And, I was in that fight or flight moment for a little while. And that's where like you have to come back and rely on your training, because your training is what teaches you how to survive that and the mental toughness that's needed to say everything about this sucks in this moment, but I'm going to keep going anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Nice last year, going up that mountain, about 2/3, 3/4 the way up there, I was definitely in that, like, I want to be anywhere but on this bike right now.
Yeah. No, we've heard a lot about Nice and the complexity of the course, and it was definitely mind over matter from our athletes that we brought.
Absolutely. Like, I loved the course.
Yeah.
I loved the swim. I that swim was fabulous, I thought. I know not everybody likes that swim. The run, I felt, was boring. It's like it's flat. It's like, go run a little more than 10K and then turn around and do it again and do it 3 more times, right? But that bike, I felt, was, like, really interesting and entertaining, but those, like, 13 miles where you're climbing, like, what, 9,000 feet of elevation, basically all at once, about 3/4 of the way through there, that's when it just sets in. You're like, "Is this ever going to end?" Because it's also got all these switchbacks. So you climb and you can't see where the path goes because the road then like doubles back on itself.
But the scenery was beautiful.
The scenery was gorgeous. It's funny. I remember seeing drones overhead, and then when we had the like banquet the next day, I'm like, I was able on one of the drones to see me down on there, like the little like pin sized, me. I'm like, because I couldn't see me, but I could recognize the tie-dyed bike. Nobody else has that same tie-dyed bike. I didn't realize this was going to be turn into an Audra interview.
I know,
Jill,
right?
I mean, this has been like an interesting turn of events.
I just all of a sudden,
Usually it's me. So any other questions?
no, I'm good right now.
Are you sure?
I'm
Are you
positive.
sure?
I'm positive.
I think you should show off your hat.
My hat. So I believe this is the new Kona hat for this year, right? For Foundation. Was that?
Race for more on the back.
Oh, I'm not going to show the back of my head. So, anyways, anything else, ladies?
What are you most excited for at Kona this year?
Oh, what am I most excited? I mean, it's Kona,
It's pretty epic.
and my kids won't be there. There's that. No, I'm excited to race on the Big Island. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I love these swims where like the water is actually clear enough where you can see beyond the surface of the water.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no. And the swim in Hawaii. That bike, though, I'm actually really excited about the bike
In Hawaii.
in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the bike because I got new wheels.
Yeah.
I almost always ride with the disc, which isn't allowed in Kona. Right. And right before going to Lake Placid, one of my zip wheels broke. So it's the carbon fiber started delaminating. So we ordered a custom set of Princeton Carbon Works tri-spokes that should not come as a surprise to anyone, are pink.
Tie-dyed or pink?
Not the whole wheel, but like
The
the decals that would normally be like white or something. They're doing pink, and that's when I found out that they're not like actually decals. They're like embedded in the epoxy that the carbons cured in. And I called them up. I'm like, hey, could we get this with pink decals? They're like, yes, but it's going to take 6 weeks. So fingers crossed it shows up. But yeah, no, I'm like, usually a fan of not changing up equipment right before a race, but I'm excited about that.
Oh my God, it'd be exciting to watch you to cross the finish line and celebrate all your hard work.
Well, that's what they say. Your race is a celebration of the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Celebrations tend not to get you across the finish line, so you still have to do the work. But I'm not looking forward to the run, though. I've still got that hamstring thing going on. And, this year runs have been kind of painful. So my goal is crush the swim, crush the bike, and not cause permanent damage on the run.
Oh, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah. But I have surgery right after we get back.
But
All
you are
right.
looking forward to the underpants run a little bit.
I'm looking forward to watching the underpants run.
No. You could underpants walk it. Gotta do it.
Oh, I'm capable of running. It's the underpants part.
Be creative with it. You know those shirts where it's like the white shirt and
Uh-huh.
you could do that kind
I
of
tell you,
idea.
I tell you what. I'll have John do the underpants run.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's your
There you go.
compromise.
I'm in one group that today on the WhatsApp, the whole channel was all people talking about it was all people talking about which bathing suit they were going to wear for it.
For the underpants run?
Which bikini bottoms to wear, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're gonna wear tops too, right?
Right.
So I'll see.
And by the way, UPR is a fundraising event for the Ironman Foundation. And Jill, why do you race with the foundation?
Why do I race with? I race with the foundation because at the end of the day, it doesn't really cost me that much more to race on what's essentially a charity bib versus, a direct bib. Like by the time you put everything together, it kind of comes out about the same for the athlete. And the money's going to like really great causes. And that's what kind of attracted me to keep coming back. And of course I like the people. But no, I think it's a great program. I think it's especially the swim program, it's investing in the communities and doing good work. And like not everyone can afford to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And having access to programs like that, I think is invaluable.
Well, we appreciate you. All the
Aw.
support and just, it's great.
Aw. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. And thank you, Audra, for having me and using your badge to get me in the building.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And
Thank
again,
you.
thank you for supporting us.
Absolutely. And I will continue to. And I encourage all of our listeners to support Ironman Foundation as well.
Come race for more.
Come race for more. Thank you for joining this episode of the Be Fierce and Try podcast. If you liked this, please like, subscribe, and download. We'll see you next time.